Here with Bobby Ray, a.k.a.
Bands.
B.o.B.
Bands the man.
What's
up, man? What's happening, man? How you
You
doing?
good?
I'm good, man. Always good.
Oh, there's my guy. He came.
Be rich.
Be rich.
Be rich.
The last time you guys saw us with B.o.B., it was awkward.
A little weird.
Well, not really.
Not for you, because
really for me.
you're a nice guy.
Well, when I want to be.
No, you was nice. You was nice. You was mad inside. You was mad though.
Nah, man. You know, I'm the type of person where I don't like stuff sitting on my conscience. So if I got something to say,
You
I'm
gonna say
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Give people a backstory. If you didn't see the last interview Rosenberg and I did with B.o.B., I had challenged B.o.B.'s hip-hopness by saying that he went pop, at which B.o.B. had come up here with his man B. Rich to specifically check me.
Just to verify, you know, some things that were
Clarify.
said, you know what I'm saying? Just to, you know, that's how we all are, you know what I'm saying? We all just like, we put it out in the open, you know what I'm saying? Anything, I know we definitely ain't gonna walk around here, you know, with the, walk around here like this, you know
Like
what
you
I'm saying?
uptight.
Nah.
Well, and part of hip-hop, and I just like to challenge, you know, cats is mad at me most of the time for several reasons.
A, you're an asshole.
That could be one.
B, you keep trying to bang all these 45-year-old chicks out in the
Listen,
game.
they keep alley-ooping.
They too.
I'm
They
a
keep-
close.
Somebody got to do it.
No,
I'm
they're
a
throwing it
close.
to you, bro.
I'm a
Like,
close. I mean,
You put
tangent,
your beard in,
35
your beard in
plusers,
first.
35 plus women with children is the way to go.
Nope.
If you don't know about it, I'm here to tell you. Look, my man in there giggling because you know what time it is. All they want is simple.
okay.
Maybe dinner.
Maybe.
Maybe. And if they're going to give you that dinner, they've already decided that they want to fuck.
Oh.
I heard you go beard first.
Say again?
I heard you go beard first.
Beard first. What you
Yeah.
mean?
Beard first.
Oh, yeah. I'm face first and whatever. You know what I mean? I got to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
I will say that. Hold on.
Literally see what's going on.
While we're on this tangent, you know, because it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's Bob. Real quick, when's your album come out?
December.
All right, so we got a minute.
Underground Luxury.
Bob's
we're
album's-
going to see B.o.B. 2 more times
Yeah,
before the
big
album.
3 more times.
So we're just
maybe.
hanging out. We're just hanging out today. So let's just be on this tangent for a minute. I have to say, Ebro, we like to call him me, bro. And considering you are an egomaniac, I think you actually take it in stride how much I think gets thrown at you. Honestly, I'm being serious. Like, considering you're an asshole and you're an egomaniac, the amount of pussy that's getting thrown at you right now, post your Love and Hip Hop appearances, I think you're keeping it rather in check.
I mean, you act as... See, I'm about to go
Oh, no, you're going to go even worse. You act as if I haven't always been getting it like that.
Like
I
I'm new
forgot.
to this.
Like you're
I knew
I'm
it was
not
coming.
new to this. This is not new, but back to B.o.B.
Speaking of getting lots of pussy.
Speaking of getting lots of pussy and being a cool dude and somebody that I do appreciate where you've gone musically because you reminded us that, yes, you could do the hip-hop shit, yes, you could do the club shit, but you still got the big records as well.
I mean, honestly, man, like when I did my first album, I wasn't trying to make no big records.
I know you just, look, we played Nothing on You this morning.
Yeah.
And it reminded us that at that time when you had Bruno Mars on that record, it was just an amazing, dope hip-hop record.
No, it reminded us that he sort of started Bruno Mars'
And
career.
yes, and then there's that too.
Yeah, man. So, like, you know, now it's like, you know, I'm just doing whatever. I mean, which is what I started doing. But, you know, now I think because of the success, I'm a little bit more self-aware of what I'm doing. Like, I know it now, what the sound is. You know, I can kind of, you know, describe it more. But for the most part, man, it all just, everything should come effortlessly with every artist. You know, just kind of let that shit come out, man. And however it comes out, you can't decide if someone's gonna like it or not. All you can do is just make that shit.
Okay, so did that start getting hard, though? Because you started out going that way. You were one of the most experimental, up-and-coming dudes in the game. Did it then get complicated when you then had a hit and then a label that has expectations and things like that? And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, now I'm a player at this label.
I mean, if you put the pressure on yourself, I mean, it'll get like that. But I mean, we always, you know, from the grassroots up, we always have been like, you know, kind of a self-sufficient type of team. But you know, sometimes you do need the label to kind of step in sometimes and push, you know, get at corporate push sometimes, you know what I'm saying, to get over certain
But
humps.
you never felt like, okay, because I did X amount with Nothing on You and Airplanes, now I need to make a record like blank.
Nah, I mean, if you can think like that as an artist, but you're just gonna be chasing. Like, if I gave a fuck, I would just be chasing down pop records and trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, trying to stay in top 40. But I mean, for me, I don't get satisfaction from just the numbers. You know what I'm saying? I know, you know, on the business side, you know, we do, you know, from a business, you know, standpoint. But, you know, this is more about culture for me. It's about pushing culture forward because that's the shit that really is the staple in what you do in your career.
Who do you feel out there right now is pushing the culture forward?
I feel like artists like Kanye, Juicy J. I like what Juicy J is doing. I like Wayne. You know, of course, Jay. You know,
about the Kendrick Lamars of the world.
You know, of course, artists, you know, like J. Cole, Wale, you know, artists like that who have this lyrical finesse, but who are still able to, you know, appeal to the masses who, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, like, you got the tastemakers who create the taste and, you know, the cool kids, and then you got like the people who just pretty much just follow what, you know, which is like the most
Most people.
most people.
I noticed you didn't say Kendrick Lamar.
Oh man, look, I'm not gonna make it.
I don't want to make it nothing about that. I was
gonna
just
make it.
He definitely, Kendrick is a lyricist. He's definitely, I feel,
No, say what it is. He's stand out the best. He's been the best dude of the last year.
of the last year, yeah, on lyrics and songs. Like, he had a complete body of work.
Once Underground Luxury come out, I think people have something different to say.
So, but you said it. But are you not a fan of Kendrick's album of Good Kid, Mad
Nah,
City?
it's a dope album. I got it. Shit, I played that album a lot when it came out.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
Yeah, it's just hard.
It sounds like, though, where you are as an artist, where Kendrick's at as an artist, J. Cole, Wale, you as a competitive MC,
Yeah,
you going to take what you feel is your slot in the game.
absolutely. But you know what I do. You know, I can kind of do what other artists do, and I can do what only I can do at the same time. So I think that's where I kind of stand out from the rest. But because of that, it's kind of like the bar for myself is like, you know what I'm saying? So I got to kind of approach it from a different way. It's a lot more tricky for me, but you know, the more I do it, the more I kind of fall into my sound and people got to understand you too, you know what I'm saying? I can understand myself inside and out, but you got to kind of tell the story for people, you know, as you progress.
Who do you think B.o.B is? I do think that's a big part of the story. I think I was having a conversation about one of the reasons that Kendrick has found some success that some of his peers don't have the same level of success as is because we know that when you think of Kendrick Lamar, you go, he's the nerdy, regular kid who was in Compton seeing the streets around him.
And he told that story.
And he told that story really well, right? So, like, some artists, I think, have struggled a little bit, even if they're really talented MCs, because you go, I don't know what this person's story is. Do you think that people know who B.o.B fully is yet? And if not, who is B.o.B?
Not entirely, you know, because like it's so crazy because you know, all the mixtapes that I did before, you know, the adventures of Bobby Ray, I had a certain type of style, and like everybody was following. They knew. I talked about how I grew up, you know, like the story that I told on Memories Back Then with Tip and Kendrick. I kind of told that same story on my mixtape like years back. But when Nothing on You came out, you know what I'm saying, even the way I was dressed, you know, I was like, I just looked at it like a video, like, you know what I'm saying, cool, I'm throwing this cardigan sweater, you know, with the Malcolm X glasses. But I didn't know that was going to be, that's how I was introduced to the world. So for me, I got to kind of retell people like, nah, y'all niggas don't understand the full perspective of, you know what I'm saying, what Bob is. So, you know, for me, I mean, it's fun at the same time because I'm kind of retelling my story and reliving it in a way, but from a more, I guess, luxurious standpoint than being in the basement.
I'm gonna give you this piece of advice because I think you're a greatly talented musician, right? The instruments you play, the melodies you come up with, the words you put down. Do not allow for these street motherfuckers and people who don't really know the complexities of who B.o.B is to have you now try to conform to a certain thing that you feel like you have to prove.
You mean people like you who
Absolutely.
complained about him?
People
Go,
like
hold on.
me,
You
yes.
were mad that he
Yes.
went pop, and now you're saying don't be too street.
I'm never mad. Just challenging. It's different.
So you're saying you just want him to be exactly who he is, even if that has nuance in it.
Yes. And even if somebody like me is gonna be like, yo, fuck that, that ain't hip hop, right? do not change that. Because all I do it is for the challenge, because I want people to fight. My whole shit is, I would give you the target. I want to be the target for people who are angry about where hip hop is, or angry about where this is or that is, or this not being done. I'm fine being that target, right? Because I want people to fight for something. And sometimes I feel like the consumer and the artist doesn't have something to put their finger on to be like, no, fuck that. We're going to go after that, right?
Yeah, you know, consumers don't know what they want. If they did, they make that shit. We're the ones who, you know what I'm saying, who make it. And for me, you know, I think it's a little bit harder for like the street individual to say, or like to rock with some shit that I do just from the perception of it. But if I would have came out a different way, the perception would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm rocking with this shit.
My dude, most street dudes want to hear great music and great songs. They don't sit up. Street dudes do not sit up and listen to drug dealer music, my nigga. If you really live in that life, do you think I go home and listen to that shit in my free time?
That's really all that matters, is if the shit's jamming. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
I remember when Chris Brown had Beautiful People. Nigga, everybody was listening to that. Yeah. Shit, Gnarls Barkley, Crazy. When he had Fuck You, like, it's all about the good music, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that when there's an element of my music that is urban or street, you know, because of the preliminary perception, it may make it harder for an individual to accept it wholeheartedly.
Well, now here, this is not the first time this has happened.
Yeah.
This is not the first time this has happened in history. And this has happened before in hip hop, of course.
Yeah.
When De La Soul dropped their album, so this is almost the exact same situation. De La were a bunch of regular dudes from Long Island. But in the hip-hop world, they were a little bit left of center. So they put out 3 Feet High and Rising, and everyone, all the hippies loved them, and all these other people take them.
Embraced it.
So then the people in the street are like, yo, but I thought De La was kind of blah, blah, blah. So then they spent practically half their career being like, no, we're not these hippies. You know what I'm saying?
And we're not mainstream. We're underground.
So this is something that happens to artists who are from a certain place, right? And because like you are who you are. You know what I'm saying? De La was hood Long Island, but they also had this other artistic piece of them that makes you
embrace that shit, man. Fuck that. Embrace all that shit.
And a lot of people, I think outsiders from Atlanta see Atlanta as one thing. And people who don't live there or haven't been there and spent time don't know that eclectic musical conscious vibe exists in Atlanta. It's you know, that's where it gave us Outkast
and Janelle Monáe
and Janelle in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So what you are sounds like a complex mix of what Outkast is and those, as well as what we know from Atlanta, all mixed together.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like I remember coming up, you know, a lot of the open mics I did, you know, Janelle Monáe would be at, and she's kept it consistent. You know, even when she started, like, you know, she had her whole image and the whole sound and the package together. And like a lot of people don't know about the eclectic side of Atlanta. You know, I know when I go back home and I listen to artists, you know, up and coming artists from my side of town, like it's on some real lyrical shit. East side, like, you know, Decatur, Stone Mountain, all the cities on the east side, man, Lithonia. It's like it's some real lyrical shit going on, and like niggas don't even know about it, you know. And I think it's kind of like this bubble where it's like, if you don't know, then you don't know. And I don't even think people in Atlanta, like the popping artists, realize just the full capacity of how far the music stretches. Like I be in like Australia in a strip club and hear some Atlanta shit, you know what I'm saying? Which is like really odd, but
I tried to get Janelle Monáe to admit to us that what Andre 3000 was doing on Love Below, he got from Janelle Monáe. But she wouldn't give me that nugget. I let it slide.
And I don't think that's true.
I let it slide.
Why do you feel so strongly about that?
I mean, that's debatable.
I'm just saying.
It's debatable.
I'm just saying.
You're saying like this is like you're acting like you have some information that we're not privy to.
I've been told that. That's what I've been told.
That he was going to events and seeing this Janelle Monáe.
And then you had CeeLo doing. CeeLo's been making a lot of that real soulful music for a long time.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? And doing that kind of how do I describe it? We'll just call it eclectic hip hop soul thing for a long time.
Yeah, he always had that soulful
So there
voice.
was a scene out there that was making that type of thing that Janelle Monáe, CeeLo Green comes out of. And not that 3000 wasn't in that world, but he hadn't got comfortable with going that far until he saw that scene there, and then he went there.
But isn't that what happens with a lot of artists?
I mean,
like they get into their no, you're right, but they get into their phase, right? Like you're like, oh, I was all about blank, and then you see X artist or see blank movie, and it takes artists to a different place and makes them think I can do all kinds of it. Now, what's your first of all, your album done?
Shit, I'm sprinting through the finish line
Right now.
Absolutely. I'm producing the majority of this shit too.
Now, oh wow, and does that? Do you have the concern that like Up in This Bitch was a huge record?
I like how you said up in this bitch.
Up in this bitch.
We up in this bitch.
We're up in this bitch. And it's going to end up being pretty good distance from when your album actually comes out. Is that a concern for you, or do you have something on the back burner that you know you're about to drop?
Not really, man. Like, you know, I got so many records, man. It's really just about timing, because you never know which way. Like, a song could come out tomorrow, and it'll be a new, you know, staple in culture, and it could be a whole new phase, and everybody
like, oh, remember Up in This Bitch? You dropped that joint too. And you're like, oh yeah.
And so niggas be like, man, we want to do this. We want to wear our clothes backwards now. So, you know, anything. So
is that the vibe you're going straight crisscross with this album? That's what you should do. Atlanta, also Atlanta.
Right.
So what is there any little tidbits you can give us from the album? Maybe a feature, some
well,
out there?
legally, I can't say what features on the album right now. You know, just being politically
You will
correct.
be pursued by the law if you say that. Is that what you're suggesting right now?
No, it's just to make sure that
it gets done.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we get the shit right. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, man, like, I think it's just gonna be you know, for the people who've been following me, like, on my mixtapes, it's gonna be, they're gonna fucking love it. You know what I'm saying? For the people who discovered me on my first album, they're gonna be, their perspective is gonna be broad into the full side of what I do and what I bring to the table musically, pretty much. Yeah.
You got a lot of big sponsors you play with now. You got a lot. You do a lot of
just a little bit.
You do
just
some events.
I dibble and dabble.
You do some big events tied to brands. See, the thing, the beauty is when you're a dope artist, though, you can make the music you want to make, and if you're able to just maybe have a song or two that can reach some of the new audience that you've adjusted to, and that doesn't mean having some that you have to have a song featuring Adam Levine on your album. You know what I'm saying? But you could still just have that song that reaches them. Then you can really make the records you want to make.
What about idea? What if you get Jesse Pinkman, and instead of Up in This Bitch, you do Mr. White, bitch,
Mr. White, bitch.
But you know, some artists feel like, you know, I see like some artists do things, and it seems like they may want to cross over, but like honestly, man, as an artist, like, you don't have to do anything to cross over. Just do what you do, and that shit's gonna eventually spread to all these countries and international places where it seems like you got to make fist pump music to get there.
Yeah, but
you know
but that says the guy who stumbled on an international smash on his first album.
I didn't stumble.
Well,
it
like,
was
dude, but
a calculated try.
So you did. So that was a calculated attempt.
Not okay. Look,
you knew it was gonna be that massive.
Yeah, like nobody can. Who knew that was gonna be the sound? You know what I'm saying?
So right, you didn't know you were creating a
subgenre. You didn't realize that the guy putting on the hook of your song would go on to be arguably the most popping artist in the game
and perform at the
Super Bowl this year. Right.
By any chance, do you have a Bruno Mars record?
You know what I'm saying?
Would you? Let me rephrase it because you don't want to talk about it.
Rephrase it.
Would you like to have a Bruno Mars record?
Absolutely, but you know what, man? It's got to, like, because obviously off rip it's going to be compared to Nothing on You. It's got to be the right record. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all still have a good relationship?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Has there ever been that conversation where someone like Bruno Mars says to you, like, yo, by the way, good looking out for that song, man. That song worked out pretty good.
I mean, it's an unspoken thing. You know, we both know that we both kind of, like, you know, created this moment.
And he wrote his part, right?
Yeah, and he helped you out too, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely, man. Yeah, like, you know,
both ways.
if it ain't no pie, don't nobody get no piece of the pie.
That's absolutely
you know
right.
What I mean?
So we've learned today that B.o.B will absolutely not tell us on his album because it will legally complicate him actually getting the clearances done for the album.
Yes, let's say that.
We'll say that. We've also learned today that the area in which you come from in Atlanta, right, is popping lyrically on the east side.
Motherfucking
shout out some of the people you've been peeping, because that's a big deal.
That would
for
actually,
people.
yeah. I think I think people that not from Atlanta just don't know.
Those people are people that I'm kind of looking at for my label, so I'm not gonna say nothing.
Damn it! So you can't even give them.
I ain't finna tell nobody who I'm looking
Okay,
at.
because you're trying to go snatch them
But
up.
if you're hot on the east side, know that B.o.B.
He's checking for it.
I'm looking.
And also, what's the single you got right now?
The single I got right now is Ready. You know, Future. We just shot the video for it. You know, just on some real, you know, rock star rap shit. You know, I think honestly, man, I think hip hop artists are now realizing that this is rock and roll, what we doing. You know what I mean? Culturally, what it's doing is rock and roll.
No, that's what Kanye said last week, and it's totally true.
I'm so glad he said that, man. Like, I be seeing it, like, when I be going places, I'm like, man, niggas don't realize this shit.
No, you know what's fucked up, too? The connotation of rap stars is negative, and the connotation of rock stars is not as negative.
I'm glad the white guy said that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Because it's true.
I normally get called a racist when I would say something like that, but I'm glad.
That's what I'm here for. It's literally why you gave me a job.
It is, so that I can have a white guy who actually got it in the building, so that way if I said it, nobody catch feelings.
Because, when people are like, oh, I interview rap stars, it's like, oh, really? Rappers. Oh, rappers.
Are you a rap singer, a guy?
But if you're a rock star, that means you're like royalty.
And when you look back at rock stars, they were as wild crazy.
Animals. They were animals.
Crazier.
Crazier. Yes.
And more disrespectful.
Yes. Those stories are insane.
But they weren't black.
Not often.
So they got a pass.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're saying, Rosenberg?
That is exactly what I'm saying. Is that what you're saying?
What a way to close this out.
Hey, Bob.
You heard it here first.
Good to see you, bro. We'll see you again before that out.
Man. Absolutely.
And there's new singles on iTunes. How's this work?
How does this work?
How's this work?
Request it at Hot 97 or look for it on iTunes.
Happens?
Exactly.
No, then
come on now, Ebro gotta play the song too.